Dear listeners, this is our second video in a series of examples on electronic music programmed in Max 5. In this series we'll be analyzing sounds, circuits, algorithms, and to some extent sections of electronic music from the mid-20th century. Most of the examples focus on specific aspects of music, sometimes tiny bits of a huge work. Please don't expect these examples to be more than what they are. We don't aim to reproduce the sound we are analyzing in all its complexity, but we rather try to get as close as possible to the thought processes involved in the making and forming of sounds, in order to build a solid comprehension of the music we work with. We really believe this is the best way we can truly deepen our understanding of electronic music. As a general remark, we will not go into the details of the realization of the Max patch. Instead, we will show you how the patch can be initialized and run, and in some examples, we will propose exercises for those of you interested in practicing programming techniques in Max 5. If you are interested in learning more of Max 5 and Jitter, check our website at www.klankwereld.org for our video course that covers basic, intermediate, and advanced topics. We hope you enjoy this learning path as much as we do. The first couple of examples in the series deal mainly with aspects of the piece TELEMUSIK by Karlheinz Stockhausen. TELEMUSIK was composed in the year 1966 in the NHK Japanese studios for electronic music. For this issue, we have prepared a realization of a part of a section in TELEMUSIK, namely structures 6 and 7. We have programmed the Glissandi processes as described by the score, following it as much as possible, but sometimes also adding our own judgment into some fine-tuning that the score does not provide explicitly. As in our previous example, we have included in the background picture the page of the realization score that describes structures 6 and 7. Basically, you can distinguish 8 simultaneous Glissandi curves, each with a specific slope and with a specific set of filters, 3 filters to be exact, each with different center frequencies. They are all triggered with the same function generator or function generator that is supposed to generate a period of pulses as described by the score. We'll look into the patch and explain a bit how we programmed all this in Max 5 and how you should initialize it. Remember that we are not after the precise sound that you can listen to in the piece. That is out of the question, especially in this example, given the lack of information about the devices and machinery that was built in the NHK studios by their own engineers in 1966. First, let's look at the tracks. Each of them has a set of variables or arguments representing the following data: the track number, the frequency of the function generator, start and end points for the glissando, center frequencies of the 3 filters we mentioned above, Q or resonance of the filters, and the amplitude. Now, if you double-click on any of these tracks, you can see how we assigned these arguments to each of the objects. For instance, the message we send to the curve object is automatically built by using arguments 2, 3, and 4. And the center frequencies for the biquad objects are also taken from arguments 5, 6, and 7, and so on. The function generator is realized by using this wave object that will be reading from a buffer object that we'll generate in the next step. You can see how practical it is to program with arguments, as in this example. We made one instance of the patch called track, and then we tune each of its duplicates with the arguments in the parent patch. Going to the second step, we have to initialize the buffer that will contain the period we are using on each track as the function generator. To do so, we open the period subpatch and click on the message that will format the buffer. But first, so that you can watch what we do, let me open the buffer window before I click on the message. Okay, so now we have initialized the buffer. This will be the period read by the wave object in each track. The next step will be to start up the window and to rise up the gain to a medium level, because the first part of the resulting sound can get pretty loud if we don't adjust it properly. Let's say around the middle of the gain object itself, and then we start the window. Last, to trigger the whole operation, we need to click over this bang. So before I do it, let me say that I will leave the music for a few seconds so you can compare it with your own setup and check if things are working good. And I will leave you for now, but please feel free to contact us through the forums for questions or feature requests.